Batman and Robin issue 4, legacy number 970. Sorry, not 970, just 70. This is not the 170 issues of Batman and Robin. Yeah, legacy number 70.
Might feel like it though.
Yeah, Joshua Williamson writing with Simone DeMeo and Mikel Janin on the art. So, I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Like, this has sort of stayed in the rotation purely because it's a quick read more than anything, and I like the idea of Damien going to school. The book starts with a flashback to Damien being trained by, well, this woman, who was training him at the Al Ghul, palace or whatever. And she sort of questioned him and all these like ancient warriors, including Miyamoto Musashi, who I recognize that name, but I don't know if it's based on the same thing or if it's just that the Japanese samurai movies that I've seen with that main character are related to something. But regardless, he kicks the ass of everyone he's training with. He answers all the questions, and Mistress, we got a name for her here? I don't know if we do. But is it Mistress Harsh? I don't know if he's just calling her Harsh or her name is Mistress Harsh. But either way, he's like, what are you talking about? I won. I got all the questions right and I beat everyone. And then she slaps little Damien across the face and says, you're meant to replace Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul. You need to be better than perfect. And then Talia comes in and is like, did you just hit my son? And she gets on her knees and is like, I'm sorry, your son is talented, but he has flaws. He must be trained. He must be better. And Talia's like, Damien, how do you feel? And he's like, I've outgrown this woman. And she's then dragged off, yelling, you little brat. She's dragged off by ninjas into the darkness. And I was like, okay, I don't know why this flashback is here. I'm sure it'll be relevant by the end of the issue, but it was amusing on its own. I'll give it that. But yeah, sure enough, present day, Damien's been held captive by a new super version of Man-Bat who's working with Shush, the Hush-related villain. Remember when I said there's some villain names that I hate? Shush is one of them. Shush and Scandal Vajich. Scandal.
Oh, jeez.
Scandal Savage, yes.
There you go.
Scandal Vajich, yes. Anyway. Looks a stupid name, alright?
Yeah, but you're making it so much worse.
But do you realize it's because all they've done is take the S from the surname and put it at the start of the first name. It makes me want to take the V from the first name and put it at the start of the second name to balance it.
Oh God.
So anyway, Damien's been held captive, and of course Batman comes storming in, and he's with White Rabbit, who ends up helping them. There's a big fight sequence. Which, the art's pretty solid. It's got a good sense of motion. I'd say the layouts are a little easier to follow than they have been in past issues, so I would say it's an improvement in that sense. But the art quality's always been good. I did have an issue here, though, because remember how the whole thing at the end of issue 1 or whatever it was is that Batman's had bats turned against him, and they're attacking him. Basically, at the end of this fight, when Man-Bat says, I'm going to call in my brothers and sisters to take care of you, Batman, Gotham City's only got room for one bat, and he runs off. Batman's being completely surrounded by bats, and he's basically, you know what, Robin, it's okay. I've spent enough time with bats to show them that I'm the alpha. And he closes his eyes, he's surrounded by bats, and then there's a full page spread almost of him just spreading his wings and saying that he's the boss, and the bats all disperse. And I was like, oh, this is a bit stupid. Like him just like showing the bats that he's the alpha. But I did appreciate that on the very next page, the scientist explains, oh no, that thing that he gave you was temporary. It'd already worn off. And
Good.
and White Rabbit's like, hey, Batman, did you know it had already worn off when you did your whole, like, alpha thing with the bats? And he just kind of grunts at her. So I do love the idea that it's poking fun at Batman, thinking that he was having this big alpha moment, but it was actually just, he was already cured. It's fine.
Yeah, let me take a minute to explain the whole alpha dynamic when it came to wolves and stuff like that. That's all a thing that's been completely misunderstood, because they had studied the wolves in captivity. So those are wolves from different packs. And yes, there was a social structure of alpha male, alpha female, whatever. In the wild, wolf packs and other animal groups are actual families, right? The alpha male and alpha female are actually mom and dad. most of the time. Same with like guerrilla troops and all this other stuff. Bat colonies operate the same way. So the whole idea of Bruce thinking he's the alpha bat, really not a good look. Because Batman's supposed to be smart. He's supposed to know these type of things.
To be fair, he never uses that word. It's only White Rabbit who calls it an alpha thing. Bruce just says, I'm going to show them who's boss. So he's not necessarily playing into how bats actually operate. He's just being like, I'm going to show them that I'm tough and that they should respect me.
I mean, that is a very Bruce thing, right?
Yeah.
That's his entire gimmick. So that checks out a little bit more than that. But yeah, bat colonies and all that type of stuff, I don't think really operate off of an alpha queen, that like a bee colony, right? They don't work like that. But I would have thought Batman would have created a sonic device that would, disperse the bats, versus anything. So here we go.
The terrible trio are all been held captive now, but it's known that whatever has been given to them, it's making them angrier and angrier. It's like they've got a rage virus on top of having actual animal parts now. So they're worried about what Bat's actually building up to. They say goodbye to White Rabbit, and they're basically questioning, wait, why did you were helping us? Is this out of revenge? Like, what is it? And she sort of cracks some jokes of how they're a dynamic trio now. And Batman's like, hey, you still belong back in Blackgate. You still work with Mad Hatter. And she's like, you'll have to catch me first. And Damien's like, hey, father, bragging rights to whoever catches her first. And they go running after her. We don't actually see if they catch her. We just get this 2-page spread of them like diving after her. As a bit of male, father-son bonding. I don't think they were doing like a flirtatious thing, especially since I don't think she's actually a teenager. But I couldn't help but think that maybe there was a little bit of a chemistry between her and Damien. But I don't know if I'm just imagining that. I don't know what age she's supposed to be. So if she's meant to be like 22, it's actually really weird and creepy if she is flirting with him.
Yeah, because he's 14 at the most.
The thing is, though, is that when she's drawn in her outfit and he's drawn in his outfit, they both seem like they could be a similar age. It's kind of... it's kind of wishy-washy, but I may just be making things up in my head there. I don't know. So next, the end of the book, though, which for me is the best part, because this is the part where Damien's going back to school, and Bruce is like, hey, you have to do things other than Batman and Robin stuff. So Bruce is actually taking him to school. He's got his like jacket and sunglasses on. The kids are teasing him because, oh, your daddy had to make you come to class. And Bruce is like... are those kids bothering you, son? And I'm like, Bruce, are you going to beat up some children? Is that what you're going to do?
Look, I would respect Batman 15% more if you beat up children.
And then his principal shows up and is like, hey, Mr. Wayne, we have to talk. Like, we have to talk about how your lifestyle, you're a famous playboy, how your influence is affecting your son. You may have to seriously consider your life choices. And of course, we all know that he's really Batman and it's all just a facade, but she's really grilling him on it and giving him a hard time. And then Damien's teacher from class shows up and says, oh, I'll be excited to teach you today, Damien. Nice to see you back, blah, blah, blah. And she wants to talk to the principal. And this is where Damien lets out the bombshell. Oh, by the way, Dad, the principal's this woman who used to train me at the Al Ghul place. So that's why we got that flashback at the start, is that she's here.
When you teased that earlier and you're talking about she was grilling Bruce, I was like, oh, she's the principal. Yeah. So having not read any of this, I guess that's good storytelling on Williamson's part.
Yeah, I think it works because Damien, right before this, was saying, what point do I have being here? I'm already smarter than everyone else. And then this happens and he's like, oh, you know what? She's infiltrated this school as the principal for some reason. I guess I do have a reason to be here. So Damien is seeing school as nothing but like a
mission.
He's a secret agent going to investigate why she's here. The school just happens to be the location. But of course, maybe along the way he'll actually have some social interactions with people, and maybe something will happen from it.
This book seems fun. If I can get some time to catch up, I might have to do that.
I like the high school stuff. I like the stuff with Damien and this woman that used to train him. I think for me, it was fine in this issue for the most part, but issues 2 and 3 really get bogged down with the White Rabbit and Terrible Trio plot. It wasn't easy to follow, I didn't think, in those 2 issues.
Gotcha.
But now that we're back out of that and we're back to focusing more on this stuff, I think there's potential. It's an easy enough read that I don't think I don't see me dropping it. But
No, also you not saying shush a lot here helps. This issue.
Shush.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I would go as far to say this one was a nice 7 out of 10. I wouldn't like rate it super high, but the art's solid enough. Even quite good at places, and I like the Damien stuff that's building up to. So hopefully that keeps going well.